Hey y'all, it's me again. I'm gonna continue reading from my book, The 1900s. Muckraking, backbone of the mass magazine. It was, of course, the popular magazine, not the daily newspaper that stood in the forefront of muckraking, but the muckraking periodicals were profoundly affected by newspaper journalism. The old respectable magazines, the Atlantic, Harper's, the Century, and Scribner's, I think that's what you say, had been genteel. Sunday Enterprise selling at 35 cents a copy, reaching limited audiences of about 130,000. The new magazines that emerged at the turn of the century saw that 10 or 12 or 15 cents a copy reached audiences from 400,000 to 1 million. They contained not only literature but features that resembled news. And like the daily press, they soon began to make news and to become a political force in their own right. Neither the muckraking publishers and editors nor the muckraking reporters set out to expose evils or to reform society. Although the experience of the Ladies' Home Journal, Wednesdays, and the Saturday Evening Post showed that immense circulations could be achieved without ever entertaining in any serious sense upon it. Muckraking was a byproduct, perhaps an inevitable one, of the development of mass magazines. Most of the outstanding figures of the muckrake era were simply writers or reporters working on commission and eager to do well what was asked of them. A few among them, Upton Sinclair and Gustavus Myers, were animated by sorry, because my eyelid keeps flickering. I have a neurology appointment on Wednesday to see what the fuck is going on with my eyelid. This is a capitalist order, but most of them were hired into muckraking record order on the initiative of sales conscious editors or publishers. If from the standpoint of the editors and journalists themselves, the beginning of muckraking seemed to be more or less accidental, its ending did not. The large magazine bill of muckraking was vulnerable as a business organization. The publishing firm was so large an enterprise and sold its product for so little that it became intensely dependent upon advertising and credit, and hence vulnerable to pressure from the business community. Advertisers did not hesitate to withdraw orders for space when their own interests or related interests were touched upon. Bankers adopted discriminatory credit policies so that model loans could not be secured even for the maintenance of a business of great value and improved stability. In one case, that of Hamptons, even espionage was employed to destroy the magazine. A passion for getting the inside story. The muckrakers had a more decisive impact on the thinking of the country than they did on its laws or morals. They confirmed if they did not create a fresh mode of criticism that grew out of journalistic observation. The dominant note in the best thought of the progressive area is summed up in the term realism. The chief source of realism lay in the city and city journalism. It's never been customary in America to write about America, but especially not about the life of industry and labor and business, poverty and vice. Now, while novelists were replacing a literature bred out of other literature with a genre drawn from street scenes and abattoirs, or the fly-specked road catchers of Hamlin Garland's stories, the muckrakers were replacing the genteel stories and romances of the older magazines with a running account of how America worked. It was not, says Robert Cantwell, because the Mutt record exposed the corruption of Minneapolis, for example, that they were widely read, but because they wrote about Minneapolis at a time when it had not been written about, without patronizing and boosting it, and with an attempt to explore its life realistically and intelligently. They wrote in short and intimate anecdotal behind the scenes history of their own times. They trace the intricate relationship of the police, the underworld, the local political bosses, the secret connections between I can't say this word. New corporations and the legislators and the courts. In doing this, they drew a new cast of characters for the drama of American society. Bosses, professional politicians, reformers, racketeers, captains of industry. Everybody recognized these native types. Everybody knew about them, but they had not been characterized before. Their social functions had not been analyzed. At the same time, the Mutt records pictures stage settings that everybody recognized, but that nobody had written about. Oil refineries, slums, the red light districts, the hotel rooms where political deals were made. The familiar, unadorned, homely stages where the teeming day-to-day dramas of American life were enacted. The Mutt-Raki model of Slav had brought with it a certain limiting and narrowing definition of reality and a flattening of the imagination. Reality now was rough and sordid. It was hidden, neglected, and off stage. It was conceived essentially as a stream of external and material events which was most likely to be unpleasant. Please comment, rate, and subscribe down below. And if you're on TikTok, please like and follow my posts. And please buy something from my eBay and or Mercari. Okay? Bye.